Hello. Hello. If you'd have asked me ages ago what is the most daunting thing you could ever do, I would have said doing stand-up comedy. However, if you'd have asked me now what's the most daunting thing, I would say watching myself do stand-up comedy. But I said I would do this. I hope you find it useful. I should precursor this with a whole bunch of caveats just to get the excuses out of the way, right? This was about my 12th gig. It's a good example of a gig that I was really happy with. I've not watched it for ages, so I'm really, really worried about this. Yeah, it's about my 12th gig in. It was the same material I'd done. I had about 10 minutes that I continually worked on, and this is it. It was a good gig, and on the night I was I'm an open spot standard, so I'm right at the beginning level of comedy. But the guy that you're about to see on screen, Duncan, this chap here, great guy, Duncan Oakley, he on the night said that me and the other chap, Dave, were some of the best middle spots they'd ever had. So it was clearly an okay kind of gig. Now, the recording isn't great because it was taken by Dave at the back of the room with an ordinary camcorder, so apologies for that. The sound isn't really good. I've tried to butcher together some streaming software to make this kind of work. Hopefully it will do. But we'll just see how it goes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go through the bit by bit, stopping, pausing, tell you what I was thinking, tell you about the idea behind the joke, and hopefully I'm not going to cringe too much, but let's just see how we go with this.
Please welcome John Holt!
God, this is the bit I dread. That is a long walk as well. It was a really narrow room. If I got any superpowers at all for the rest of my life, the ability to walk onto a comedy stage, pull the microphone out the stand, and get the stand to one side would be it. Because that's all I ever think about for the entire run up to the gig. Just take the mic out the stand, get on the stage, don't fall over, don't fall over, don't fall over. So here I did that, and I've never actually fallen over, but it's just, you can almost sense the relief on my face.
You all seem nice. I don't have a magic vagina.
I don't begin all my sets with "I don't have a magic vagina," though I kind of wish I did. This is calling out something that happened in the previous set. I think I was the first middle act, so somebody would have gone on before me, so something clearly happened. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was clearly pertaining to a magic vagina.
Just the standard enchanted butthole. You can put your finger in it, but you really will only be making my dreams come true. Gonna go downhill after that.
And it probably did go downhill after that.
A sandwich? Right, I say
I shouldn't interact with the audience so early on. It really breaks up the flow.
enchanted butthole, she says egg sandwich. Any Freudian analysis in? That's good. I do need to mention one thing before I start, after the enchanted butthole thing. I'm very aware that some people I may look like A, Jason Manford, B, Michael McIntyre, or C, frustratingly of all, the guy for the PlusNet commercials.
So this is a good example of, without the magic enchanted vagina, how I would call it, how to open a comedy set. If you've got something about you that people notice, bring it to their attention. There's a very old comedian who used to say, a really fat guy that would move the mic to the back of the room and say, well, you know, if I didn't move this, you won't be able to see me behind it. Just an example of calling out the room. And so often I get, are you Jason Manford? I'm not. And then they see the act and then they go, yeah, I should have saved that question till then.
That's always the one, isn't it? I'm none of these people. You need to be aware of this, okay? I don't want you sat there thinking, A, I can make you laugh. B, I can make you laugh. Or C, I can give you a quicker way to download pornography. I really can't promise any of that. Although, if you delete your tabs and delete your internet history, that will make the porn come quicker. You're welcome.
Aside from pornography tips, Um, I'm really aware that I'm going too fast. Really, really going too fast with this. And also, I think the teeth sucking in bit that I do when I'm nervous is really going to show.
I can't be sure, but I think I do stand-up comedy for the same reason that every person with 2 young kids at home does stand-up comedy. We want to be cool. We want to be inspirational. We want to get the hell out of there for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, please.
True.
But I love my daughters. I've got 2 young daughters. I love them amazingly. But when you spend all day with them, if somebody comes along and says, "Would you like 10 minutes on your own?" I'm going with that guy. I don't care where he's going. I'm with him. I would dress up as George W. Bush, go to Afghanistan just to spend 600 seconds of my life that didn't come with the soundtrack to Frozen.
Yeah, I mean, that dates a reference. George W. Bush, Afghanistan. God, it's been a while. But again, it comes out of truth. The truth is that, being on stage in front of people for 10 minutes is the only piece you get as a new parent. So that's why I do it. So that's the truth, and hopefully I've expanded it into a gag.
Let it go. I don't think I can let it go. I'm medically unable. I'd have to have it surgically removed somehow.
Yeah, so I'm still going too fast, which annoys me now. But that's one of the reasons why you just have to get up there and do it. I can see the thought process of me going through the material in my head, and I'm trying to remember the next line. It's not come natural to me yet. And this is part of the thing of comedy. It's just getting to the point where you're confident in the material that you don't have to rush through it too much. And I can see myself, I can see the pressure, and I can see the uncomfortableness.
This is my 10-minute piece, so I don't care if I'm funny. I might sit down and read a paper. I don't care. This is my pottering time. Welcome to my shed.
I love the line, "Welcome to my shed."
We have actually just welcomed a new addition to the family. Don't applaud, it's just a dog. I'm not a dog person, but my wife is. And she's a sneaky one. She said she needed something to protect the family while I was out at night, working, gigging, crying in lay-bys, those kind of things.
Standard things that 40-year-old men do.
What I didn't realise was this. Guys, and this is handy to know, you'll never find out what your wife truly thinks about you as a husband, father and a protector until she buys a dog to replace you. Take a look, that's what you are to her.
So again, another truth. If a wife needs to buy a dog and she wants it to protect the family while you're out, you are that dog. And again, it's not funny in itself, although the realisation of it can be.
I am a puggle. A bloody puggle. Now the thing I like about the puggle is the fact you don't have to be the best dog aficionado in the world to understand how camp and pathetic this animal is, because it's right there in the name. Puggle.
You can't say puggle in a intimidating way.
There's a reason you've never seen a builder's yard guarded by big signs saying, "Beware of the puggle!"
Some things I just do for myself.
It's that camp, it doesn't come with a collar, it comes with a cravat.
I was very proud of that line. Puggle doesn't come with a collar, comes with a cravat.
That's a monocle. And it's gay. I've been replaced by a gay, camp, pathetic puggle. Now, I've nothing against gay dogs. I'm not one of those homophobic canine people you read about in the Daily Mail, I'm guessing. No, I've got nothing against gay dogs. Some of my best friends are gay dogs.
I didn't know if that would work, and I kept it in. Just the idea that people are so quick to prove that they're not racist, homophobic, or disableist by going, some of my best friends are gay, black, disabled, whatever. I didn't know if that would fly, but I think it still needs work.
Sorry, no. Some of my best friends are gay doggers. Doggers.
I'd forgotten about that tag. Gay doggers, that's even better. Oh.
Sorry. And I won't be totally down on it. The puggle, it's not totally useless. The puggle is the right kind of dog for you if you're the kind of person that lives in constant fear of being attacked by Alan Carr. That is the right kind of dog.
I actually got some flack for that gag once. Somebody accused me of being homophobic. And this troubled me for ages until I actually asked some people and said, no, that's fine. I think Alan Carr would be perfectly okay with me portraying him as a camp man who wouldn't be a good fight against a burglar.
So we have the puggle, it's cute, and it's cuddly, and it's lovely, but, you know, it will die. That's the only thing I see. In 10 years' time, I'm going to be stood in my garden with a shovel. And I'm joking about it, but I don't like thinking about that. I find it really hard. I don't own a shovel. I'm 39 years old, I've never bought one. I'm going to have to buy one for this exact purpose. The money saving side of me thinks, should I buy one now or later? I'm basically thinking, is the price of shovels is it an investable opportunity for me for shovels? I'm checking the footsie to see if there's any kind of long-range garden-wear forecast. Buy shovels, some rate. Good!
I don't think this bit really worked. I think the idea was there that I don't own a shovel. All I see when I own a pet is that it's going to die and I'm going to have to bury it in the garden. I don't think this bit worked. I think there's mileage in the fact that I would have to buy a puggle for this, a shovel for this purpose, but it's not quite there.
And it can cost hundreds to put a dog down. Hundreds! Now, I've not been a dog owner for too long, but I think I can save you some money on this. You get a shovel. No. I can save you money. Now, being a vet is very difficult. It's 6 or 7 years at university. It's a really hard course. It's like media studies difficult. That's how hard it is. It's very hard. There have to be people failing this course. People who don't have what it takes. People whose natural inclination, if you think about it, is to harm animals.
I like this bit. I like, I don't know if it goes over really well, but I like the idea of people who aren't able to save animals, so their natural superpower would be to harm them.
If we need a dog put down, let's go to these people. They've got no jobs, let's just go to them. If I want my dog put down, I want it done by a natural-born killer. My puggle deserves the best. Congratulations, you're no longer a failed vet, you are now a transition specialist.
I like that. It's just a nice little spin on the, you know, it's in today's society we're not coffee servers, we're chief barista caffeinated beverage distributors, and I thought that was a transition specialist was a way of making a failed vet sound good.
Go forth and maim people. And what's the worst that can happen? If the guy screws up, what's he going to do? Cure your dog? Oh yeah, I was going to nick his artery, but I accidentally sneezed and unblocked him. He's going to be fine. We're so sorry for your gain.
I like the idea of, I'm so sorry for your gain. The other thing is, you can see me playing with the microphone stand now. I think now I'm kind of slowing down a bit and getting into it. It's taken like 6 minutes. I'm halfway in. And it's finally getting there. It's like, once you get the first couple of laughs, once you make it through some hard stuff, kind of get your flow and you kind of relax a bit more. So you can see me play with the mic stand. It's not through nerves, I don't think. I think it's more a case of I'm just getting a bit more comfy and I'm not thinking as much about the material, which may or may not be a good or bad thing. I can't remember exactly how this ends.
No, we have the problem, so the kids are happy, and that's the most important thing, apparently. Becoming a dad is a weird thing. I don't mean being a dad, I mean becoming a dad. Trying for a baby. That is a weird phrase, isn't it? People will tell you in polite conversation that they are trying for a baby, even though you know, and they know, that once somebody tells you they're trying for a baby, the only thing you can then picture is them making that baby. Over and over in your head. We're trying for a baby. You're just having sex! Sorry, I didn't direct that. Right, so, oh, we are. Excellent. Oh my God, this enchanted butthole's working overdrive.
Enchanted butthole working overtime. As they all do.
You must have one too. Let's make his hair go curly. So if you are trying for a baby at the moment, I don't mean right this moment, I know it's dark out there, but have some decency. Don't tell us. If we want the mental image of you and your partner going at it like a pair of dogs, we can do that on our own. We don't need your help, thank you very much. Yeah, but for some people, trying isn't enough. You ever had somebody tell you that they're trying really hard for a baby?
This happened to me in a playground, and this is where this whole bit came from, was when somebody said to me, we're trying really hard for a baby, and just the mental image of somebody trying really hard. You know, it's quite, it makes you wince, it makes you do that kind of face. Oh, it's like prison.
Really hard. Nobody's trying harder than me and Sandra. You've got to love these people. For these people, the only thing that counts in conception is the amount of effort you're putting into it. So if you're trying to conceive but you're not trying hard enough, people. You'd go to the doctor, he'd prescribe you some sweatbands, elbow pads, full of crash helmets. Go on, give us a welly, go on!
I like the idea of trying hard just being... so conception was all about effort, like PE.
But you're not trying! You don't try to. In a world of sex, you don't try to have a baby. Having a baby is what happens when you're not trying, when you're a little, everything's going haywire. In the world of sex, you don't try to have a baby, you don't try not to have a baby. The family planning section at Boots isn't for people planning a family. It's just for people planning sex.
Dirty, sexy people. And again, just another thing about truth is like having a baby comes easy. That's a natural bit. It's not having a baby that is the hard thing. I've just realised, even though I'm so uncomfortable doing this, I'm now actually commentating on myself talking about having sex. This experience couldn't get any more uncomfortable for me.
It should really be called child repellent.
So that's it. If you're going to name something family planning, you might as well name it child repellent.
Nobody is looking at this massive wall of latex and thinking, now then, which one of these condoms will help us best create life? This one's red, this one vibrates. I don't know, do you want ginger kid or an epileptic one?
I was super happy with the ginger kid or the epileptic one. I thought that was a great gag. Great gag. I've only done that twice in this entire set. Oh, ginger kid or an epileptic one.
Trying for a baby is a great time in a guy's life. Oh, it's fantastic. It is the only time you are guaranteed to have a lot of sex. Because ladies, you won't know this, but we men occasionally think about sex. We keep it...
I've just grabbed the microphone. You'll see why in a second.
Well hidden, but we can think about sex. Yeah, we don't hide that very well, do we? We can think about sex anytime, any place, anywhere. This is as close to a superpower as we get. Even when you think to yourself, he can't be thinking about sex now. We are. I could be giving a talk in front of 50 people that I've never met before in my entire life, and one part of my mind would be focusing on sex. But it's there.
So it's kind of hidden by that person's head there. But I don't do visual comedy at all. Look at me, for crying out loud. I'm not built for visual comedy. But the idea of stroking the microphone stand while talking about the fact that I could think about sex really appealed to me. And I'm glad it came over here.
Ages write a joke and you say, hey, stroking a microphone. I'm going to put it down now, I feel like we're married. As men, our lives are just one big long quest for the sex. We wake up in the morning, where is the sex? No, it's somewhere. How can I be where the sex is happening?
I like the idea of how can I be where the sex is? Just this quest for the sex.
If you were to imagine a flowchart of man and his motivational needs, it's very simple. It's just a man in the middle like this, asking the question, am I having sex? If the answer is no, go to the sex. That's how it all works. But you see, when you try for a baby, the quest is over. The sex is going to happen. And it comes to you. It's like being a member of Amazon Prime. It's awesome. Yes, lots of sex. Unless, like me, you succeed first time.
Truth.
recording this, well, I'll be so happy. I haven't got any chance of... I was joking. She's off. She's stripping off. No.
Don't improvise during a gig, John. You've written the jokes, you've worked hard. Don't faff around with somebody in an aisle. Oh, God.
Oh, she's got an enchanted butthole. Yeah, I succeeded first time. Yay, go me. What really annoys me about that is the fact I'm crap at sport. I've never been good at sport in my entire life. I thought Tiger Woods was a golf course. I'm useless at sport. The one time, when the Pregnancy Olympiad comes along, the one time I wouldn't mind being a little bit rubbish. A bit crap, a few lane encroachments, a few false starts here and there, and I turn into the fertility equivalent of Usain Bolt.
I don't know why I like the idea of saying lane encroachments and a few false starts when it came to conceiving a child. It just, I think it was some kind of weird image it conjured in my head. But I like the idea of the fact that I'm terrible at sports, so I should be terrible at conception. I should be that special child that's running off in the wrong direction, need bumpers, padding, pads. But I just like the premise of that.
I didn't even get a chance to tell people I was trying really hard. No crash helmets, nothing. But kids, they are awesome. They're fantastic. But I will be honest, they are single-handedly the most frustrating things you will ever create in your entire life. I will spend 12 hours of every day counting along with Mr. Tumble. I'll put the child to bed at 7 o'clock, come downstairs, think to myself, I know, I'll watch Poirot. Oh no, bloody won't, because he's hidden the remote control in the bloody truck somewhere and I'm stuck with Eagle-sodding Pickle for 3 hours. Ladies, you won't escape it either. You'll plan yourself one of those lovely, long, relaxing soaps you're very fond of. You get music, candles. The moment you slip into the tub, the very moment, the door will swing open, the child will sit on the toilet and drop the biggest, loudest, smelliest dump you have ever seen in your entire life. Before waddling out of the room, allowing you to bask in all of
If you plan to be a parent, do be prepared for the fact that the child can defecate on command, at will, anytime, any place, anywhere. It's a phenomenal power that children possess.
They are frustrating, they are annoying, but do you know what the one thing is that makes it all worthwhile? Do you know what the one thing is that as a parent brings you so much joy and happiness in the face of all this adversity? No, seriously, do you? Because I'm really at the end of my time. I will leave you guys to it. I've been John Holt. Have an awesome time tonight, you guys. Stay being nice.
So I think the ending needs a little bit of work. But let's play a bit more applause. There we go. Oh, that was so uncomfortable. That's been ages since I watched that. How that was 2015. So that was pretty much the set I had when I was doing comedy. It was a 10-minute set. It went to about 30 minutes, and I even rushed it in the beginning. It got a bit better towards the end in terms of pacing and comfort, but I could tell how fast I was going there, how nervous I was, and how I was thinking about the material I needed to do. So lots to work on there. But it's made me think about doing it again and maybe starting from scratch, writing some more material, and doing it. But hope you found it useful. If you I say this to people all the time, even if you have no desire to be a performer, a comedian, stand-up, anything like that, doing stand-up comedy is a really good opportunity to test yourself in terms of presentation, coming up with material. These are really good skills to learn. So if you've ever fancied having a go at comedy, even if you don't want to become world famous doing a tour around all these arenas, do give it a go. It's one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever done, and hopefully I'll do it again in the future. And that, even though that was awkward as hell to watch that, I'm really glad I did, because I remembered a few gags, like the microphone stroking one and the gay doggers bit, that I'd completely forgotten about and think really made me smile. So hopefully you found that useful. If you've got any questions, feel free to send me a message. I'll put this up on the YouTube channel as well. Hope you enjoyed it, and if I ever do comedy in the future, I will do a similar thing. But I'll leave you to it now because I'm going to go off and throw up rather heavily, I think.